Hi everyone, as in the last class, we have gone through with the discussion with regards to part 1, that is form of preparation of balance sheet. Then part 2, that is pro forma of the preparation of profit and loss account. Thus, in company final accounts, we are going to have another aspect here known as managerial remuneration, a very important from the point of view of the examination as well as from the point of view of the understanding of the company final accounts. See, remuneration will be paid for each and every employee, but there is a keen or a genuine a purpose of calculation with regards to the managerial remuneration which we are going to discuss here. Therefore, the what do you mean by manager? A manager, he is going to look after the entire company, organizing the planning or the things which has been involved in order to control or in order to coordinate and in order to control them, right? Again, here we are going to have the managerial remuneration where he is going to handle the company, whether he is going to handle the company full time, whether he is going to handle the company part time. See, again, the in order to handle the company, the manager will be paid for him a remuneration known as a managerial remuneration. See, that's what he can also be called as a managing director of the company, right? See, always he is not entitled for a particular salary. He is entitled based on the amount of net profit of the company in some percentages. Because he is not entitled for the salary, he has been entitled based on the amount of net profit earned by the company. Suppose assume that it is a startup of the company, so that there is no profit for the current year. At that time, based on the amount of the effective capital which has been contributed by the owners of that company, based on that only we have to pay the amount of remuneration as it is fixed earlier. See, with regards to that, when the company is having a sufficient amount of profit, at that time what we have to do? See, according to the section 198 of the Companies Act 1956 says that the total remuneration which is payable to the manager, whether it is a public company limited, whether it is a private company limited, wherein the whatever the amount of net profit which is earned by the above companies, which should not exceed the 11% of the net profit of the company. However, if any of the amount, if additional fees is being paid for the attending of the general board meeting, should not be considered as the remuneration for them, right? Yes. Therefore, again, there are again different categories are involved in order to pay for the managers. See, again, here we are going to have one particular chart, category of managerial personnel. Different managerial categories are available, so that here maximum percent of net profit is available. See, categories of managerial person. Therefore, first one is overall limit for total remuneration to all the managerial personnel, that is 11%. See, for all the managerial personnel, the whatever the amount of net profit is there, it should not exceed the 11% of net profit of the company. Then how can the net profit be found out? By the way of preparing the P&L, that is income statement, right? Therefore, suppose if he is a managing director, for one, suppose only he is an alone person, in this case entire managers are going to be paid. Suppose only if he is a one, at that time 5% will be the net profit. Then managing director, for example, if he is more than one, see, again depends on size of the company, automatically the percentage of the net profit of the paying for them also differs. Here 10% is available. Suppose if he is a whole-time director of the company, managing director of the company, 5%. Suppose if he is a whole-time or full-time director of the company, where he is more than one manager is involved, 10% is there, so that we can remember easily. 5%, 10%, 5%, 10%. Then managers, there cannot be more than one manager, right? Therefore, at that time also 5%. See, again, there are numerous slabs are available for them. Suppose if he is a managing director, where he is managing with one or more full-time director, at that time 10%. Part-time director, as there is no manager or managing director, or whole-time director, at that time 3%. Suppose if he is a part-time director, at that time only 1% of the net profit will be paid. See, again, these all situations are coming under only when we are going to have the amount of net profit, when the different categories of managerial persons are available, right? Suppose if there is suppose if the company is not having any more profit, or suppose if the company is not having any inadequate profit, at that time what will happen? At that time, according to the section of 198, the schedule 12 says that the remuneration payable to the personnels are as follows. Again, if the amount of the net profit is not available for paying for the managers, at that time the following is a chart which is available for them. At that time, what we have to do, we have to go ahead with the effective amount of capital which has been introduced in the company. See, suppose if it has been less than 1 lakh, suppose if it has been less than 1 crore, at that time the managerial remuneration should not exceed 75,000. Suppose if it is more than 1 lakh, less than 5 lakh, at that time the managerial remuneration should be 1 lakh. Suppose if it is more than 5 crore, less than 25 crore, 1,25,000. See, as and how the amount of the effective capital increases, so based on that the amount of the managerial remuneration also differs from amount to amount, from 75,000 till rupees 2 lakh. Suppose if the amount is 100 crore or more, suppose if it is in terms of million, at that time the amount of managerial remuneration should be 2 lakh. See, however, it again depends on when the company is not having the profit. See, again, usually from the examination point of view, there will be one 5 marks question, so that we need to have computation of net profit for the purpose of managerial remuneration under section 198, 349 and 350. Different net profits are available, right? Yes. So that in order to find out that one, what we have to do, there is specified format is been involved for the computation of that. See, usually we are going to have the amount of what the net profit or loss as per the statement of profit and loss account. See, as per the amount of profit and loss account, we are going to have all the indirect income as well as direct income. Here on the debit side, all the direct expenses as well as indirect expenses, so that whatever the amount that we are going to find, it is considered as net profit. But in order to find out the amount of the net profit where it is computation with regards to managerial remuneration, we have to find out the adjusted net profit for the purpose of managerial remuneration. Therefore, here we are going to have the net profit or loss as per the statement of profit or loss which is been given in the question. So that there are here all the expenses. For example, add inadmissible expenses, that is the expenses which are not related with the business. If the expenses are not related with the business, at that time these following items are going to be added back in order to find out the profit for the managerial remuneration. See, disallowed expenses such as income tax, individual earnings or individual salary earnings, based on that a tax which is being paid by the company is a disallowed expenses. Tax, provision for IT, tax for dividend, provision for doubtful debts, volunteer payment, compensation, then capital expenditure and capital losses, managerial remuneration paid or payable, excess depreciation as per the IT rule. Suppose if any of the transfer to development reserve is there, suppose if any proposed dividend and dividend tax is there. See, all these expenses part which are not related with the business, these are all are indirect expenses of the business. That's what we are going to again add back. So that here we are going to have the amount of net profit. So that here we are going to deduct the disallowable incomes, that is less disadmissible income. See, again there are some of the incomes which are not related with the business are available. Assume that first one is premium on shares. This is other than the business, where the amount excess money received from the shares which is considered as disallowed income. Therefore, premium on debenture, this is also an kind of amount which is received by the way of issuing the debenture to the debenture holder. Profit on sale of forfeited shares. Suppose if the shares are being cancelled or cancelling the rights of the shares, if any excess amount has been received from that part, at that time we are going to take this amount. Suppose if any excess PDD, suppose if we have made a provision for doubtful debts, so that we have received for that current year, which is considered as disallowable income. So that here we are going to have another, that is capital profit, which is no more related within the business. So that at the end we are going to take this outer column, so that we are going to deduct out of this less inadmissible income, so that we will get profit for the purpose of managerial remuneration. See, again there will be one 5 marks problem based on that. See, whatever the theoretical aspect which is with regards to the company final accounts or the format involved in the preparation of that, we have gone through with it, so that while coming in the next class we shall go ahead with properly and neatly the problematical part, as well as the discussion with regards to the question paper problems as well. Suppose if you are having any queries or doubts, so that you can make me WhatsApp. If you are having any difficulties with regards to the corporate accounting of company final accounts, the mobile number is 9742597606. So that, see you students in the next class. Thank you.